It's loading. Shalom, this is Onieh. We are doing a Hebrew study today, and we are live streaming it on both YouTube as well as Facebook. I'm going to double check to make sure it's live streaming on Facebook, but it should be. And Thursdays, we do the actual lesson, whereas on Mondays, we come together to practice. So today will be another practice meeting. Refreshing my Facebook page to double check. There we go. So it is live on both my Facebook and on YouTube. Now, for those who are interested, if they are watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can join through a link, a Zoom link. We do this over Zoom. And the Zoom link in particular, I'm going to read it out to you guys. It is the Zoom websites, so zoom.us/J/856264128666. So the number for our meeting is 856264128666. So you can join on if you would like. And I'm also going to periodically be sharing the screen. And when I'm sharing the screen, it'll also show that link at times for those who do want to come on. They might see that and they might be able to join us. So with that said, I am going to start with a little bit of information about I'm going to review some confusing aspects of Hebrew for the letters themselves. And so I alluded to this in prior videos, but I did not explain yet to you guys in a lesson. So we're going to do the explaining. And let me start sharing the screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. All right. So most letters of the Hebrew alphabet do not have more than one form. However, there's a few letters that do have a different form. So you know how in English there's capital letters and lowercase letters. In Hebrew, it's only capital case letters, but there are special ending letters for ending forms for a few of the letters. So let me point out to you guys the letters in particular that have special forms. So they are Kaf, which corresponds to the letter K in English. What am I talking about? M, which corresponds to the letter Mem. Mem, which corresponds to the letter M in English. Nun, which corresponds to the letter N in English. And Pe, which corresponds to the letter P in English. And finally, we've got Tzadi. Now, that's pronounced as the J sound, but it doesn't really correspond with any English letter. So with that said, those letters each have their special forms when they're at the end of a word. So these forms I'm going to show you now are, so this is the final form for Kaf, for K. And this is the final form for mem, M. Oh man. Okay. And the formatting is going to be a little bit iffy here. So we've got this right here is the final, like I said, the final K form, the final M form right here, the final N form, the final P form, or F. It's pronounced sometimes as F in Hebrew. And this is the final J form. It is pronounced by traditional Hebrew as TS, but the pronunciation that I have come to understand as the correct pronunciation for this letter is a J sound as well as a ZH sound, a J. J and J. The J is the sound of the S in the word measure and in the word treasure. Treasure, but it's not treasure, it's treasure, treasure. So there's like a ZH. Instead of a SH, it's a ZH. It's not treasure, treasure. And so the J and the J are the pronunciation for this letter Sadi. So, for example, the word for Adam, or Adam, depending on pronunciation, is, whoops, where's our, all right, so instead of spelling it as like that, you're going to spell it as with the final M letter, Adam. Same thing for Elohim. You're going to spell it with the final form, the final M. Now, interestingly, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, the final M was sometimes written as a regular mem when the pronunciation flowed into the next word. I don't have one off the top of my head right now to demonstrate, but actually, you know what? I could. Look it up. I think I'll share with you guys another time. Where basically why in the Dead Sea Scrolls it sometimes uses the regular form instead of the final form. Like I said, that's mainly because it's considered kind of like a prefix almost. It's combined. Oh yeah, so I think I know one example. So there's a special word Hey guys. My apologies. My computer malfunctioned and I was giving you guys hard time. So let me just log back in on my computer and hopefully it should work. And I think the live stream is still working, so. I'm just logging in on the computer now, one moment. It's freezing up on my computer at the moment. My apologies. Just give me a sec to fix this. Okay. Oh, sorry guys. That's a wake-up call. All right, can you guys hear me now? Someone say in chat or.
Yep.
All right, thank you. My apologies for the technical difficulties. That tends to happen when that sometimes happens when it's sharing the screen. So one second. All right. Well, let me try this again. So like I said, hopefully it's still live streaming. All right. So we are back. We are back. And so this word right here means with. And it's used, like it can be, like, let's say, I have a good example. I'm just looking up the Hebrew word. Let's see here. All right. All right. So Anaki Nabal. That's I'm with stupid, right? And the term actually means fool. This word right here. But so in regular Hebrew, you're going to use this word with, and you're using the final form mem, the final mem form, because this is a word, and at the end of a word you use the final form. However, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, they didn't consider it its own word. They considered it a prefix. So instead, they used the regular mem. So that basically meant that these words are being combined with this. So they combine it almost as if it's the same word, just separated by a space. So that's an interesting difference of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Not in all manuscripts of the Dead Sea Scrolls, but in some manuscripts, you do see that difference. So just keep in mind those things. Now, when you're writing Hebrew or reading Hebrew, it can be very easy to mistake certain letters because of how similar they are in appearance. And so these two right here are among the most often mixed up letters, the resh and the dalet. But notice this kaf right here looks very similar. This is the final kaf form, and it looks very similar to both of these. Really, the only difference between dalet and resh is that dalet goes slightly to the right of the letter at the top, whereas resh doesn't. Similarly, kaf, the final kaf form looks identical to dalet. The only difference is it's a longer vertical line. It's longer. But when you're writing in Hebrew with written letter, like when you're writing it out by hand, someone who writes the kaf shorter and the dalet a little bit longer than normal, it would be almost indistinguishable. So sometimes scribes looking at someone else's Hebrew writing can be confused by the similarity of appearance. And because we don't know Hebrew fluently, we will probably make these mistakes occasionally. Even trained experts in Hebrew make these mistakes. Now, similarly, the wa and Zion. Wa is U, Zion is Z. These two letters are very commonly confused. Similarly, this is the final N form, the final Nun form. Like same thing as this case, the final Kaf form. The length of the line, the vertical line, might be shorter depending on how someone's writing it, and so it could look very similar to a Wa or a Zion. Hey and Tet look very similar. The only difference being the left vertical line has a broken gap in it, whereas for Hey, whereas Het does not have the gap. And depending how someone's writing it, that gap might be very tiny, so it might look identical. Now, Tav is also a similar letter that looks like Het. Depending how the person's writing it, it could look just like a Het. So you keep that in mind. Kaf and Bet are very similar letters. The main difference is at the bottom, Bet has a little bit of a, it points out to the right. But other than that, it's virtually identical. The other difference is this one's a little bit more straight, whereas this is more curved. Noon looks very similar to Kaf, except it's a shorter curve, like it doesn't extend out all the way as Kaf does. And you have Pei, which looks very similar, except it has the left hook, which makes it easier to not get it confused. Shin looks pretty close to Ayin, except it has 2 branches, whereas Shin has 3. And similarly, Tet has 2 branches, but one on the left side and one on the right side. But these are letters that could easily be confused by someone just who is not as familiar with Hebrew or is looking quickly and rushing in their work of reading or writing Hebrew. And Wa and Yod was often confused as well, because the way someone wrote Yod could be an indication of like they could write it a longer way. Now, here's something interesting as well, is that the biblical Hebrew version of the letter L looks nearly identical with the Paleo Hebrew. Paleo is the older original version of letters of Hebrew. It looks very similar to the N letter, except that is not a good example. But let's see, I got a different Paleo Hebrew font here. I don't think I do. Wait, let's see here. Yeah, I think I just have. Oh, wait, maybe. There we go. Look at this. This looks nearly identical. This is the letter Nun in Paleo Hebrew. This is the letter Lamed. Virtually identical. And another interesting thing, like I told you guys this, one of the previous sessions, is that in the Dead Sea Scrolls, the letter Lamed, or the L letter, can have a much longer line. So let me see, where's that? Where was that one? Here we are. Look how long the line is. So there's different ways of writing it. All right, back to regular Hebrew letter font. So with that said, do you guys have any questions about these final forms that I've introduced? And any questions about the similarity of appearance? I'd say it's pretty straightforward for the most part. The more you get familiar with this, the less likely you are to make these mistakes of confusing letters. But I mean, let's see the, I gotta type out the English alphabet here. All right, so, you look here and you see V, W, and Y look similar. So someone who doesn't know the English alphabet could be confused by that. O, P, Q, and B, D, like these letters right here could be, I'm sure they could be pretty confusing for people. And and then you can add O as well, but then C, E, and E, these are all letters that you could understand why people would be confused. I and J would be confusing for people. K and H. I guess G might be a little confusing. Looks like kind of like a O. But yeah, so this, if you think about it, it's kind of the same thing for the English alphabet where there's similar letters, but we know the English alphabet so well that it doesn't really phase us, but it definitely could. One of the most common ones in English is capital I versus lowercase l. That one confuses us all the time, even native English speakers. And then, of course, you have the number one, which again, they all look the same, so it can be confusing. So this is not a foreign concept for similar letters. All right, so now what we'll do is we'll start doing the practice session where we're going to be transliterating. Does anyone want to volunteer for today? I know we had a volunteer last time, and then I don't want necessarily the same people to have to feel like they have to volunteer each time. So it would be good if anyone else would be interested in doing it today. I mean, multiple people can do it today. So do we have any volunteers? Melissa wants to do a sermon. Is that right, Melissa? You want to do a sermon?
I was just gonna pass the time while you was gone.
Yeah, my apologies for those technical difficulties earlier. So let's see here. I'll just get started here. So this is Genesis, of course, and I'm going to do transliteration of Hebrew, of the English into Hebrew. I'm going to match the letters like we did it in our private messaging in our group chat. So I, like we said, corresponds with Yod. Remember, we're going from right to left because Hebrew goes from right to left. So the English words and sentences, they start on the left, go to the right, but Hebrew's the opposite. So keep in mind that the very last letter on the line of Hebrew corresponds with the very first letter, and the second to last letter on the right side for the Hebrew line corresponds to the second letter on the left side for the English, and so on and so forth. So we have, I'll make this smaller, it's too big. Maybe just 20. All right. So these first two letters are Yod and Nun, corresponds to I and N. Then Tav, Het, and He, T-H-E. Then Bet, I keep getting the Het and He confused on the keyboard. So Bet, He, Gimel, Yod, Nun, Nun. Now what we're doing, obviously these are not Hebrew words, but we're spelling English words in Hebrew letters. Now what's interesting is that the Jews did this for many different languages. They did this for German, which is the origin of Yiddish. They did this for French. They did this for Italian. So there's actually manuscripts of different writings of Italian words, but written in Hebrew letters in actual manuscripts. And the same thing with French. We have manuscripts in different libraries of that happening, and also Arabic. They wrote Arabic with Hebrew letters. So this is a phenomenon that is not limited to me making it up, but Jews did this to get used to the Hebrew letters, but writing the words from their language that they spoke, because the Jews spoke different languages depending on where they were in the diaspora or the exile. Jews in France spoke French as their main language, typically. So basically, they would adapt the French language into the Hebrew letters to make it easier to connect Hebrew with their language. So the same thing is what we're doing right now. So Bet, Hey, Gimel, Yod, Nun, Nun, Yod, Nun, Gimel corresponds with Beginn, Ing. God, that would be Gimel, and then Ayin corresponds with O, and Dalet is D. Then C, like I've mentioned before, corresponds with C corresponds with G because that's where it originates from. So we got Gimel for C, and then Resh for R, He for E, Aleph for A, Tav for T, He for E, again, Dalet for D. So, and of course, when it's the same word that we just encountered like shortly before, that makes it easier to remember. So, whoops. Well, now I'm typing heavens, and remember, V originates from W or U from the Hebrew. And the earth. We will do just the first verse for now. We'll do a verse at a time to make it easier, I think, rather than doing a whole bunch like we did last time, because that was just too much. All right, so, whoops, did I just delete it? Okay, no, I didn't. Oh, so we have here, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And so now I'm going to switch these words up. All right. So let me just quickly stop sharing the screen. And I'm going to switch the words up. And then I'm going to have some of you guys tell me which word is which. That'll be like our fun little way of seeing if you can understand, if you can recognize these different words.
Hey, Oni,
Mm-hmm.
are you going for a new hairstyle, buddy?
As opposed to what? I'm just letting my hair grow out.
Yeah, I'm just messing around.
You guys remember when I used to have really long hair?
No, I didn't know that. Mm-mm.
Yep. That was 2017.
I thought Apostle Paul said it's a shame for a man to have long hair.
It's a so shame doesn't mean it's a sin. Basically, it depends what your reasons are. So if you're having long hair to uh, like there are many men out there who want to look like women, and they're intentionally trying to feminize themselves. And they'll talk with a lisp and a thing like that.
Yeah.
They're effeminate. I believe that's the sin that is being focused on. And the same thing for women who are trying to make themselves macho, masculine, and they're basically like, trying to be men basically.
What
But
if there's a woman that just likes to look really muscular and she wants to work out? Does that mean she's sinning?
no, but
Oh no,
I
I'm in
said
trouble.
I said it's not sinning.
I know, but I know what I'm starting to think that that's what's implied.
So for example, Paul talks about short hair, right? That a woman should not have short hair. But the Torah says if you become defiled, you need to cut off your hair to purify yourself. So the key to remember is women cutting off their hair to purify themselves is for health reasons. They're not doing it to make themselves macho. Same thing, like, if a woman has cancer or something and is losing hair, that's not a sin. So you just got to keep in mind what are the reasons. There's a Nazarite vow for men, for example. They can make a vow to God that they're going to have long hair, and they're dedicating their hair as a sign of their devotion. So it's not as simple as if men have long hair, they're in sin. If women have short hair, they're in sin. It's not as simple as that.
Is that why pictures of Jesus has him with long hair because he was a Nazarene?
I think they get that confused. Nazarene is similar to the word Nazarite, but they're not the same word in Hebrew. So that's where some confusion comes.
So did he probably not have long hair?
We don't know for sure, right? Unless there's an apocryphal document that says something, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. All right, we're just about done here. All right, so I'm going to share my screen, and I would like one of you guys to volunteer. Any volunteers for this exercise? It's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. It's not like what Steve had to do last time, read through in like 9 verses of difficult spelling, right? This is just the one verse. And what we're doing is basically you're going to identify which word in which Hebrew word is which word in the first verse of Genesis. All right. So who wants to do it? Anyone? Walter or Melissa, would you like to? If neither of you would, then I would ask Steve to do it again. Any takers? Steve, are you comfortable doing it again with this first verse?
Want to do a word each?
Yeah. So basically, what you would do is this first word right here. What's that first word on the right side? Let me get this out of the way. I'm getting the English out of the way. So this first word, what would you say that is?
But,
And if you're not sure, you can always come back to it and skip to the next word. Now, another way you can try to do it is cheating a little bit by remembering that this is the first verse of Genesis and you can count the letters, but that's kind of cheating a little bit. It says you're muted, so I don't know if you are talking or not. Um, or if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But I'm not sure if you're just having audio problems or if you're not wanting to do it or connection's weak or something. Or my connection's weak, maybe. Anyone else? Like Melissa? Let's see here.
What is that?
Basically, you're looking at each of these words and you would try to tell me which English word it is from Genesis verse 1, chapter 1, verse 1.
Well,
I-
I already know because I know that verse.
Yeah, but I rearranged the words when you weren't looking. So they're scrambled.
There's no way I could know.
Well, that's what we're trying to learn here. We're trying to learn the Hebrew.
Well, I'm not grasping it yet, I guess.
Okay, that's all right.
But I'm hanging out and listening.
The more we get exposed to these letters, the more we're going to start to remember them. So Steve's trying to work on his mic. For some reason, it's malfunctioning. But in the meanwhile, I will do the pronunciation for you guys, and then I'm going to get that out of the way.
is that wait?
All right, wait. All right, now it's working. So say it again.
Wait?
This first word.
Yeah, is that wait?
No. Now remember, some of the letters might look similar. Remember what we talked about up here.
Right.
So what would this first letter be, do you think? Or which, now last time we did vowels. Can you identify the vowels that we did last time? Let's start with that. Like, what's this letter right here?
E.
That's E.
So
So
the.
the.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is the THE. And so let's see here. All right. Now, what would this next word be right here? We've got this vowel, and it's in twice, and then this other vowel.
That's yo. It's a Y.
So this is a hey, this is Aleph, this is hey. So this is a E, A, this is a E.
This is getting difficult again.
Let's come back to that. Let's go to this very last word on the left side right here. It's only 3 letters. Now this one, of course, we did already. The, right? The occurs 3 times in the verse. So we've got the. All right. But what's this first word?
And
Yes. So when you're trying to figure out these other words, now use these words that we do have solved to try to do process of elimination. So what's this next word right here?
here we go. No. Now. New. Let's see. And
So you have the in right, you have the O correct.
now.
No, so
That's not new. That's new.
so oh, by the way, I forgot.
That's that.
So wait, okay, so where's the noon? Oh yeah. All right. Gimel is similar to noon. I forgot to tell you.
Okay.
And so, you could get confused with Gimel and Wa or Gimel and noon. But so this letter right here looks like this, doesn't it? Is it hard to see, like the screen? Or like, should I zoom in? So let's see here. Oh, so Steve just has to reboot. So we're just gonna wait a second. While he's trying to reboot, Walter, if you can hear, did you want to try to do any of these words? If not, you don't have to, but you're pretty bad, you said? Well, the more we try and familiarize ourselves with these words, and the more we practice it, the more we're going to start recognizing these. Now, it was also said, now Steve said that he's going to reboot. That's what he said. But Steve suggested that we might focus on only a couple letters or 1 letter per time, so that we familiarize ourselves with the letter, with each particular letter, 1 at a time, because showing you all the letters is harder. he feels, and that may be the case. So we might do that. Just waiting for him to boot back up. But so I think what we'll do is we'll start with Aleph and Bet. So Aleph looks like this. Kind of looks like almost like an X, and that is the A letter. And Bet is B. This is the B letter. So we're gonna try to focus on learning those two letters today. We really want to get that down because once we can learn a few letters, then we can move on and learn more letters. You know, you really want to recognize these letters like immediately. For me, I automatically know these letters because I've been looking at them so long for so many years. So it's much easier for me to just look at that. So while we're waiting for Steve to come back on, I'm going to go and do the A's. So this is again, this is the, all right, he's back. So, all right, thanks for coming back. So, all right, so Steve, are you ready to try this third word? And you are muted just in case you didn't know.
All right.
So what about this word? It's a very short one.
Yeah, that's in.
Yes. So we know that this little stroke is a yod, an I, and then this is the one I was telling you guys today, the final N form, the noon. It's called a final noon. So that's the N when it's at the end of a word. But when it's in the middle of a word, it's a different form. If you remember, if we go back to these forms right here, remember I went through these forms. Kaf is the normal form. This is the final kaf. Mem, final mem. Noon, final noon. Pei, final pei. Tzadi, final tzadi. So that's why you have the final noon right here. So how about this word right here? Because we identified this as a yod. So what do you think this word is right here?
Beginning.
Yes. So the first letter is a B, and then the second letter is a E, G, I, N, N, I, and G. It's a lot of the same letters, so that makes it a easier word. In fact, it's there's only 5 unique letters in the word, but it's 9 letters long. So that's kind of funny.
Right.
I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. All right. So far, we have about half of the verse solved. So what would this word be then?
Is that created, the second one?
This one?
Right. Yeah.
Yes, that one's created.
All right.
And so this is Aleph. These are hey. These are Hay's or E's. And this last letter is a D, a dalet. You see the dalet at this word for and. So if that's said, what do you think this word is? A third word from the left.
Let's go earth.
Or you want to do earth?
Earth. Yeah. Earth. And then heaven. And then
And then
only one missing is God.
the most holy name. Yep, so God. So there you go. That wasn't too hard, but you like you guys said, you're still learning these letters. So now I think it was you, Steve, that suggested this, where we actually do the letter, like 1 or 2 letters that we focus on. So so I think we should do like 2, like A and B.
Right. Then we start out easy.
Yeah, so
Baby steps.
so we'll probably try to do what we did before, where I was going through. It's just repetition. So that is the A equivalent. Let's see, what font should this be? All right, so 16 is probably pretty good. So just watch as I'm doing this, and every time I'm going to see A and how I'm replacing it. A, Aleph. A comes in Aleph. Let me zoom out. Last time it took so long because we did 5 letters. This time we're only doing 2 letters. So face, Aleph. A becomes Aleph. Waters, A becomes Aleph. Said, A becomes Aleph. And A becomes Aleph. Was, A becomes Aleph. A to Aleph for and. For saw, A to Aleph. for that. And the A in darkness is now Aleph, called day. The A becomes Aleph. What I want you guys to do this week is to practice the letter A and B. So periodically, either writing it down in a notebook or in our group chat on Facebook, the Hebrew chat, try to replace A's with Aleph and try to replace B's with Bet. Excuse me. Now there's a lot of A's, but I'm not sure we're going to get a lot of B's. So just keep repeating. And I'm gonna do the entirety of Genesis chapter 1. But we're only doing the 2 letters, so it's gonna be much simpler. Okay. The more you're exposed to these equations, the equivalence of A with Aleph, the more you're gonna easily remember that Aleph is A. Okay, so we're about almost halfway through the chapter for A. And then it's probably going to be much quicker when we come to the letter B, because like I said, there's not as many B letters. And seasons and days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth. And it was so. Then God made 2 great lights. The greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. The stars also. God set them in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth, and to rule over the day, and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that good. So the evening and the morning were the fourth day. And God said, let the waters abound with an abundance of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the face of the firmament of the heavens. So God created great sea creatures and every living thing that moves with which the waters abounded, according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the birds multiply. Let birds multiply on the earth. So the evening and the morning were the fifth day. Then God said, let the earth bring forth a living creature according to its kind, cattle and creeping thing and beast of the earth, according to its kind. And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth, according to its kind, cattle according to its kind, and everything that creeps on the earth according to its kind. And God saw that good. And God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. He created them. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. And God said, see, I have given you every herb yield seed which on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed, to you it shall be for food. Also to every beast of the earth, to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth, in which life, every green herb food. And it was so. Then God saw everything that he had made, and indeed very good. So the evening and the morning were the sixth day. All right. So that is that was the A's. All right. Now I'm going to go and do the B's. And like I said, the B's are significantly easier to do. It's not going to take as long. So let there be light. Let there be a firmament. Where's my mouse? Okay. Above the firmament. Whoops. Okay, be gathered. Bring forth grass, herb, brought forth the herb, be lights, B for signs, B for lights in the firmament, abound, abundance, birds, above, abounded, bird, blessed, be fruitful. Let the birds multiply. Bring forth the living creature. Beast of the earth. Again, beast of the earth. Birds of the air. Blessed them. God blessed them. Subdue it. Birds of the air. Herb. Be for food. Beast of the earth. Bird of the air. Again, herb. Yeah, so that was Aleph and Bet, A and B. So now this should be much easier for you guys to read. Can Melissa, can you read it? Like I said, it should be much easier for you to read it.
Okay, what do you want me to read here?
You can see the screen, right?
Yes.
So basically,
Hold on a second. Okay, do what?
so you're gonna read the chapter.
Well, I know this by heart, so I mean, how can I?
You know Genesis chapter 1 by heart?
Well, I know the first few verses.
No, you
of
have to
course.
you have to read the whole chapter.
Okay, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And my son's saying it in the background, and he's not even looking because we memorized it. It says, on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Then God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness.
I'll stop you for a
God
second.
called the light day, and
Melissa.
Yes.
So there's a few places where there's italics, and I removed the italics. That's why it might sound awkward in a few places. Like
oh, I was
Like
just
where-
on what I memorized off of the King
But yeah.
James. We was trying to memorize some
but
of
you
the Bible.
can you can keep going though.
Okay, so I'll try to really do it, not memorizing it, just looking at it then.
Verse 5.
Okay. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So the evening and the morning were the first day. Then God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and God let it divide the waters from the waters. Thus God made the firmament and divided the waters which under the firmament from the waters which above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. So the evening and the morning were the second day. Where are we at?
Now we're in verse 9.
Okay. Then God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, let the earth bring forth grass. The herb yields seed. The fruit tree yields fruit according to its kind, those seeds in itself on the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, the herb yielding seed according to its kind, and the tree yields fruit, whose seed is in itself according to its kind. And God saw that good. So the evening and the morning were the third day. Then God said, let there be lights found. Wait, I just got messed up. Wait a minute.
Here we are, right here.
Okay. Then God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the dry from the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons, and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth. And it was so. Then God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night also. God set them in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth, and to rule over this day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good, and so the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Then God said, wait a minute, where am I at?
Now we're at the top 20.
Then God said, let the waters let the waters abound.
Yep.
With
Mhm.
an
Abound
abundance
with.
of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the face of the firmament of the heavens. So God created great sea creatures and every living thing that moves, with which the waters abounded according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply and fill the waters in the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth. So the evening and the morning were the 5th day. Then God said, let the earth bring forth the living creatures according to his kind, cattle and creeping thing and beast of the earth according to its kind. And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth according to its kind. Isn't that supposed to say beast of the field?
No, it I think it just says beast of the earth.
Okay,
And-
according to its kind, cattle according to its kind, and everything that creeps on the earth according to its kind. And God saw that good. Then God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. He created them. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. And God said, see, I have given you every herb yielding seed which on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed to you. It shall be for food. We just learned two very important things right there. That God said, okay, everybody, be fruitful and multiply. You know what that means, don't you?
I'm trying. I'm trying to find
Yeah,
someone.
it means a lot. And then he also said, you're supposed to eat fruit. So we all need to make a bunch of babies and eat a bunch of fruit.
And herb.
Okay, yeah. So what would that entail?
Plants, like
Just anything like lettuce and stuff? Yay! I'm
Well,
on the right track. Okay, I'm sorry. Also to every beast of the earth, to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth, in which life, every green herb for food. And it was so. Then God saw everything that he had made, and indeed very good. So evening and the morning were the 6th day.
So that wasn't too hard with the just those two letters, right?
No, it's so easy. It's child's play.
If I had done what I did,
bring it on.
If
Bring
I
it
did
on.
to what I did to Steve the other day, because I did 5 letters.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Well, because I got it easy because it's Genesis. I've read it 100 times. You know, and I listened to it in the audio over and over and over and over.
That's true. We could do what Steve suggested and do the genealogies.
Oh, I could not do well with that. No.
But yeah, so let's see here. So it's 10:16 already. We will probably go for another 20-ish minutes. But what do you guys think? Are you kind of starting to get at least Aleph and Bet? Is it starting to get recognizable? And did you guys download to your phones or computers a Hebrew font that you can type in? Walter, do you have a Hebrew font on your phone or computer? So if you have a smartphone, you should be able to download a Hebrew to your keyboard. But if you don't have one, you can use this website. Okay, you're using a laptop. Okay. Do you have Microsoft Word or something similar? Do you have any document thing like where you can type documents? Word. Okay. So excuse me. You should be able to I'll have to try to send you guys the font that you can download to your computers so you can type in Hebrew. Actually, I might be able to send it to you guys now. Hold on. So first of all, this website, lexalogos.com/keyboard/hebrew.htm. You can practice typing Hebrew there if you are having a hard time getting Hebrew font on your computer. Let's see here. All right, so here's where you're going to download this for maybe not this website. Hold on. This looks like a weird website. All right. I think this should be good. All right, so here should be the link for you guys. Bibleworks.com/fonts.html. That should be where you can download the Hebrew font. And it'll also give you a Greek font as well. So it says click here for the zip file. If you have a Mac, you could also do the Mac version at the bottom of the page. It says Mac OS versions of our fonts are also available. Yeah, so the Mac version is this link right here. Yeah. So you know when you guys see in the group chat me typing words in Hebrew letters, do you find that helpful when like I do that periodically and then I type out the English of it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Me it is.
So yeah, I'll have to get a email list for you guys. Well, I mean, I could also just send the files in the group chat as well. Sorry for yawning, Steve. It's been my job is tiresome, so yeah, I do a physically exhausting job, so but we're just gonna keep practicing every week and I'm gonna try to at least once a day. I'm gonna try to at least send one message in the group chat using the Hebrew transliteration, and then letting you guys know what the English equivalent is.
In the morning and the evening.
Possibly something like that, but morning and the evening, you said? I could do something like that, but
It'd be easier on you probably.
yeah. Well, I wake up early, so I try not to send stuff super early. I have to wake up at 5:40 my time. So you guys, some of you guys are at different time zones, so but so I mentioned this to Steve earlier. Basically, Thursday, just to give you guys a little heads up of what we're going to be doing, we're going to be learning about numbers in Hebrew, not the book of Numbers, but numerals. So how the rules work for writing numbers and such. Well, that's going to be an interesting topic. I'm going to try to go in depth and give you guys all the different rules. So I think it's going to be pretty cool, and numbers are not too hard. It's pretty easy to translate numbers, you know. So that's what we'll be doing Thursday, and then you'll actually have some vocabulary words to deal with. Melissa's been craving for vocabulary words.
I know some.
Well, yeah, that's good.
I know. I'll say it and you tell me what it means. Moedim.
Appointed times, although it doesn't always mean time.
Kodesh.
Month or renewal.
It means moon.
No, it does not mean moon.
Yes, it means moon.
No.
Yes, it does.
Yariach means moon.
That's not what other people say. Rima. Oh, that's the wrong language. Sorry. Oh no, it's not. Yeah, it is. Shemaim.
Heavens.
That's right. Now give me a few.
Yahuwah.
That's too easy.
Yeah, Baruch.
I don't know.
That means. Do you know what it means, Steve? I'm sure you do.
I think I used to, but I don't anymore.
What does it mean, Steve? Tell us. Yes. Bless.
What did he say? What did he say it means? Blessed?
It means blessed or bless.
Ah.
Interestingly, though, in original Hebrew, it wasn't Baruch that means bless. It was Karub. Basically, it was cherub. You know the cherubim, cherub.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So in Akkadian, it doesn't spell it as Baruch. It spells it as Karib, and it's related to cherub. So
Like Caribbean.
Yeah, Caribbean. It's but the cherubs are called cherubs because they are the blessed ones. So that's a very interesting information that a lot of people don't know. And by the way, something pretty crazy that I'm recently learning. I had to confirm this. I had to do more study to confirm this, but apparently it is possible that the word Sabbath is not of Hebrew origin, and it may be of pagan origin, not the concept, but the word itself. So according to scholars, the word comes from Sumerian, and there's a Sumerian word that basically means something along the lines of heart ceasing or something like that. So I had to do more research to determine if that's true or not. But they claim that Sa is a Sumerian word that means heart, and Ba is a word that means like to bring to bring to an end, or put to an end, or to cease. And so if that's the case, then that's very crazy. But I want to do research to confirm that. Well, the seventh day, he set apart the seventh day. And what day is the seventh day? In my view, it's for like half of the world, or 2/3 of the world, it's Saturday, and the other half it's Sunday. The reason being is the International Dateline. And so some people think it's Saturday, or no, some people think it's Sunday and it's actually Saturday for them, because they put the dateline in the wrong place. But that's for, that's a Sabbath study that we can do sometime. But
Well, if Sunday is Saturday, isn't Saturday Friday?
for those places. So basically, so do you guys know the International Dateline, what that is?
I don't.
It's important. So let's say you freeze time. Okay. So right now, for me, it's 10:30 basically. So we freeze time 10:30. Now the whole Earth is divided into 24 time zones. Okay. So you go one time zone over. We froze time, so time's not changing it. All right. So now it's 9:30 p.m. You go another time zone over, it's 8:30 p.m. You keep going, and suddenly, like, today is the 13th. Well, if you keep going, eventually you go into the 12th.
If I should do the dog towels and get it over with, or do some more boy clothes.
Whoops, Melissa's.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see.
I don't know if it's enough.
Let's mute her.
Let's do Blue's Clues. So basically, if you go to if you go 1 hour, one time zone before, it's still the 13th, but it's an hour prior. If you go like 11 time zones to the left of me, it then becomes the 12th. If you keep going, it's going to keep going further and further back into the 12th. When does it become the 13th? Like if you keep going around, you come back to where you started, but you're in the 12th day rather than the 13th. So the International Dateline is basically the starting point where scholars have arbitrarily decided where to start the calendar. Where does it start? Well, because they start it in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, that means that it's possible that there's many places on the earth which have the wrong day. And so basically my belief is that anywhere to the east of Israel, the promised land, and west of the International Dateline is on the wrong day. They're off by one day.
What day is the Saturday for me? Should it be?
It's the same for you and I. Anyone in the U.S., we're good.
It should be Friday.
No, the U.S. is fine. It's the regular
I
day.
say it's Friday
Why do you say it's Friday?
because I want to.
No. So I'm not simply just declaring a day just because like I feel like it. It's an actual thing where
I think it should be Friday.
no. India, people in India right now, they believe that the sixth day is the seventh day. Like, so they're keeping Sabbath when it isn't even Sabbath for them yet. They're doing it one day early. So actually, yeah. So then, so like India, according to the International Dateline, India has Sabbath first before Israel. But I believe it's the opposite. Israel is supposed to have Sabbath first before anyone else, and then it keeps going. The sun keeps going from the east to the west, and then it gets all the way around to India. So India is one of the last ones to keep Sabbath in the true way of keeping it. But because of the International Dateline confusion, the wrong date has been made. Yeah, so you want more words, Melissa? What's Adam? What's that word? What does that mean?
Do what?
What is it?
Mankind.
Mankind?
Yeah.
What about Isha?
Isha. Are you talking about Jesus?
No.
Are you saying Eve?
Nope.
Isha. Wait a minute. Let me think. Oh, Isha. What is that?
All right,
I
what
should
about
know, I guess. I can't think of it.
Ish? What about Ish?
I?
So Ish means man, and Isha means woman.
Oh.
And then there's let's see here. There's what does Lev mean?
I have no idea.
Lev? Steve, do you know what Lev means?
You guys are.
Lev means heart. Lev means heart. Steve, what other Hebrew words do you know? You know Baruch. What other words do you know? Because you guys do your liturgy and stuff. So what about Ahava?
Are they?
That's love.
Mitzvot.
Mitzvot. So what's that one? That one is like it depends how you translate it, but it's like it's a form of commandments, but I'm not sure the exact translation.
Yeah, you're on the right trail.
What about Melissa? What about Torah? Do you know what that is? You probably don't know. That's Old Testament. Torah. What does that mean?
Instructions. Instructions.
And let's see here. Natan. You know what Natan is?
I don't.
It's given or give. And emet. Does anyone know what emet is? I believe that's truth, emet. And then it might also be faith. I can't remember, but one of those. And then what about ba? Ba means to go. And
Melocom.
what was it? Oh, yeah, or come. And what about Mashiach?
Yeshua.
No, Mashiach means anointed or
Messiah.
yeah, Messiah.
Anointed one.
And why did I pick those words, Melissa? I picked those words because Melissa's picture has those words.
Right.
But so it looks like we're pretty much close to the end here. Do you guys have any final thoughts of anything about Hebrew that you want to talk about?
I think we're doing good. How about you?
Just like I said, we're going to be doing numerals for Hebrew on Thursday, so that's going to be good. And
Are you just going to touch on numbers, or are you going to go into numbers, or are we going to do the vowels and then do the consonants?
we're going to learn the numbers. Like we're going to learn numbers 1 through 10. Then we're going to learn numbers 20 to 100, and then 100 to 1,000, and 1,000 to 10,000. And you're going to count from 1 all the way to 10,000 one at a time. No, but we're gonna do like we're gonna go probably 1 to 100, and then, or at least definitely 1 to 30, and then we might do only like a few from each 10 group. So we would try to cover 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and then like maybe like 94 and 95. Like we would do like a few random ones, but we wouldn't do 91 to 99 because that wouldn't be necessary because it follows the same format. But we would do 100, and we would do a few of the 100 ones. And then we would do 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. And 1,000, we do 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, all the way to 10,000. But we wouldn't do each individual number. But also what I want to do is give you guys rules for how numbers work. Like, for example, there's masculine and feminine forms. When do you use those? And then like which becomes plural, which doesn't, what order should the numbers be in, things like that. So yeah, that should be pretty good. There's a lot of interesting things to share about it, but it might take you guys a little bit of time to learn the numbers, but the numbers are very straightforward. So I would say once we cover that in Thursday's lesson, then it's going to be pretty easy to practice those numbers. then I'll actually give you guys words to practice with. Because maybe some people find it hard to practice Hebrew without having actual words to practice with. But I'm going to be introducing on Thursday those words to you guys. And so for those watching on YouTube or Facebook, either live or in recording, these sessions on Monday are just for us to practice. So it's going to potentially be tedious for some people watching these recordings. But the goal is for people who are not fluent in Hebrew and really are beginners to become used to these letters and to start learning it. And the best way to do that is to do it tediously, like we've been doing in these Monday sessions. But the meetings that are more interesting in terms of actual content, new content to learn, will be the Thursday meetings where we're going to be doing new lessons every week. So, so that'll be this Thursday, 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. My Zoom link is on Facebook. If you like the link to join us on Zoom, you can contact me on YouTube or Facebook, whichever is easy for you, or send me an email. Anyways, so for the guys on the call, thank you so much for participating. Yeah, since there's 150 Psalms, we could go and do on Thursday. We could do numbers 1 through 150. That's a good idea. Of course, there's 5 extra Psalms in the Syriac, so we could do 155. But yeah, all right. So we'll end it here today. Oh wait, what's you're asking what are the 5 Psalms? No. So oh yeah. Syriac. So Syriac is basically Aramaic, and it's like basically a Christian Aramaic, but it's written in a different alphabet script. So Aramaic, traditional Aramaic, is written in the same Hebrew letters that we're using right now. Syriac, on the other hand, it's Aramaic, but it's written with a unique script. So it's harder to learn Syriac because you have to get familiar with that script. But yeah, the Syriac Christians, in some of their manuscripts of the Bible for the book of Psalms, they have 5 extra Psalms that are numbered by scholars, Psalms 151 to 155. But anyways, thank you so much again for coming to this meeting, and hope it's helping you. We will continue to practice on the group chat on Facebook. And I believe within a few months, you guys will start really getting the hang of these Hebrew letters. Shalom. God bless you guys. Have a great night, everybody.